What do rustic farmhouse, ammunition, 3D printing, and op shopping all have in common? This video. This is Refit Retro. If you watched my last video, you'll know that my wife and I love a good secondhand bargain. So when we scored a micro suede and leather couch for only $200, we were over the moon. See, I'd already been scammed once over a corner couch on Facebook Marketplace earlier in the year, though luckily we were able to get our money back as we acted quickly. But I was a little worried that this new couch deal was still too good to be true.
Fool me twice, strike three.
However, this time I used Trade Me, which is kind of like eBay or Yahoo Auctions, but exclusively for New Zealand. And it has a lot of buyer protections built into the platform.
Nothing can stop us now!
As it happened, the couch belonged to a couple who were just trying to move the last of their stuff out of the house before it seemingly went on the market. So, a bit of an opportunity win for us. But this brings me to the issue of this video's build. See, the couch came with a leather ottoman, which we initially didn't think we'd use, until we realized we really liked it.
Well, ooh-la-dee-da.
But with the ottoman in place, we now had no room for a coffee table, and we practically live at our coffee table. So to solve this, I came up with a plan, which I've decided to show you using my atrocious drawing skills. Now that feat of artistic homicide is over,
Cool motive, still murder.
let me explain what's going on here. The short of this concept is a big upside down U shape that fits over the ottoman. I want it to have wheels that will let it roll back and forth along the ottoman and little cabinets in the side for storing remotes and things. Now, the ottoman has slides on the bottom which allow it to easily move in any direction, and we kind of like that. The tricky part is that if we want to retain that omnidirectional movement, then the coffee table needs to be able to move that way too, and you can't do that with traditional casters. Originally, I had a harebrained scheme to attach the coffee table to the bottom of the ottoman using a linear rail system or something like that. This would have meant it was actually kind of floating, but it was all too complex and expensive. But eventually, I came up with a really cool solution, which I'll show you a little later in the video. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, please hit the subscribe button and please like this video. Oh, and don't forget to share it around. Right. Let's build a coffee table. I started out by writing myself a cut list on a scrap piece of acrylic. All I'm using for the desk is a $40 to $50 project panel from Bunnings. It's basically butcher's block as an 18mm board, and you can cut it up and use it for pretty much anything you want. Yes, I know I need to build outfeed for my table saw. I'm working on it. I started assembling the cabinets using the front door as a way to square up the frame. I used simple 4mm MDF for the backing, as it's what I had lying around. Off screen, I finished all the pieces with the same Feast Watson wax that I'd used before, only this time I blended a little bit of black with a little bit of brown to get a darker tint. As it was a nice sunny day, I took it all outside to dry and air out and to attach the tabletop to the cabinets. I wanted the cabinets to basically be invisible until they were open, which meant that the door needed to sit flush inside the frame. So for the first time ever, I installed Euro hinges, which sit recessed in the wood and mean that it can open from the inside of the structure. To space everything out correctly, I used these 3D printed jigs that I found on Thingiverse. Going nice and slow with the drill press, I used a Forstner bit to slowly carve out the cavities for the Euro hinges. I used a scrap piece of the project panel to line up the magnetic catches. As it was going to sit flush inside the box, this was nice and easy. Once everything was drilled and screwed, it was as simple as fitting the hinges to their mounts and fastening everything together. Alrighty.
Alrighty then.
So now to the real secret behind this project: rolling ball transfer units.
Say what?
Put simply, a larger ball is held captive in a ring and it glides over a bed of ball bearings in a cup below, creating an omnidirectional caster.
Oh, okay. No, I get it.
My problems were solved, until I saw the price. $30 a unit was just too steep for a project that uses a $40 project panel. But luckily, that's when I remembered I have a 3D printer, or a few.
My collection.
That's generally how it goes. And my luck didn't stop there, as just as I was gearing up to design my own files, I took a moment to scan the net to see if anyone had beaten me to the punch. Lo and behold, I discovered a Thingiverse page and even a blog post from Alexander Evans, a software engineer who had already been through several iterations of a printed ball transfer unit, until he settled on one that worked with 4.5mm ball bearings. I'll link Alexander's blog post below for anyone who is interested. Alexander's design calls for a 1-inch main ball for which he uses off-the-shelf PTFE balls. I wanted to print mine, which I did in 2 halves from glass fiber filled ABS. I then used a quick dip in acetone to completely smooth out the surface, which hopefully will help them glide. For the casings, I just printed them out of Elegoo Standard PLA, which has to be one of the best filaments I've ever used. I used a little bit of PTFE lubricant in each cup as it dries to a film, and a deburring tool on the edge of the ring if I had any issues press fitting the balls. Finally, there was nowhere in New Zealand I could just purchase off-the-shelf ball bearings without having to get a quote or some such nonsense, except for my local boomstick shop, because YouTube doesn't like the actual word, so the shop is Boomstick City.
And one of the things that keeps popping up is this about subtext.
I was able to get a pot of 1500 4.5mm ball bearings for $20. This is the second time I've been in there to get a product for off-label use, and honestly, the staff are just awesome, and usually pretty interested in what I'm up to. All that was left was to screw my swanky new casters into the coffee table and test it out. I added a few 3D printed holders for controllers and remotes and the like, and then I also added some window stays to help hold the cabinets open. There we go. We've been using this thing for a couple of months now, and it's been awesome. I love the fact that it's so versatile, and I especially like that the cabinets are almost invisible until you open them. If you enjoyed this video, then please consider supporting me financially by heading over to refitretro.com and purchasing one of my products. I'm making new stuff all the time. Most importantly, please make sure to subscribe to Refit Retro, like this video, and please share it with anyone and everyone. Also, thanks to your amazingly generous support with our last video, we've almost reached the criteria for YouTube memberships. If you'd be interested in joining a Refit Retro membership, leave a comment below to let us know. Lastly, if you enjoyed the music in this video, well, I wrote most of it. Go and check out Lassair, L-A-S-A-I-R, anywhere that you stream your music. That's it, we're done. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.